Hey guys, welcome back to Arry The Stag. TR Tony here. Just taking a bit of a pause in proceedings today, only account of the fact we've got April showers at the minute, so I've had to scram into the garage just to record this. Today I've had a bit of a task on. As many of you will know from the film last week, we actually had quite a bit of brake squeal going on. As you can hear, I've got some squeaky brakes there, James.
Yeah, just a bit.
On UES 591S. So this week I ordered a few parts and I decided to have a crack at it and get stuck in and see if I could just change over the discs and the pads on the front brakes of the Red Stag. As you can see, I've got the hard top indoors now, so I'm now with the cloth roof on. I still haven't got it fixed, it still needs to get fixed, but that's another story. But anyway, let's go out the front now, just show you how I tackled it and what I've done. Haven't completed it all today, there's some more work to do, but all will be revealed as we go through. So let's go and have a look. Okay, so here we are. Murphy's Law, although the rain wasn't forecast till later, it started raining. Now, nevertheless, I will persevere. Even though it's looking pretty dark up there. Hopefully it's just a shower. And here we are. So yeah, safety first, we've got the handbrake on. I'll just chock the back wheels and then we're going to get under and lift the front up with the jack and an axle stand underneath for safety and get that front wheel off. But first of all, we're going to undo the bolts whilst the car's on the ground, just loosen them off, because obviously once the wheel's up in the air, then it's harder to turn it without having someone sticking on the brakes. So obviously do that on the ground where it's more static, and we can get the wheel off. And luckily Harry has lent me his very handy impact double driver, so I'm just going to undo the wheel nuts now. Yep, that's moving. Okay, so bolts are reasonably loose. That one's a bit more looser than others, but they're all loose. And just now starting to jack up. Oops, get it the right way. Lifting it off the ground. Alright, so all up together, and we've got a little axle stand underneath there, just making sure that that's going to hold it all as I now begin to take the wheel off. Okay, so we're all set to remove the wheel now. It's on studs, so just should just come off. Not so easy when you're single-handed though, trying to hold a camera. So there we are, it'll come off very shortly. There we are, got it. Good. And there we are, there's the brake hub and the pads, which actually don't look too bad. There's some good meat on those, but nevertheless I've decided to change it all over because they're squeaking like heck and I don't know when these were last done. So let's get stuck in. Okay, so first thing we'll get out are these split pins. You can see there, these pins here are holding the spring clip in, which keeps the pressure on the pads underneath. So you've got to bend these back and then pull them through. So I've bent them back now. I'm just going to pull these out here. There we are. In fact, the spring clip has already fallen out. Bottom one needs pulling out as well. And it does. And again, second part of the spring clip come away. Now, these may or may not, these are ears on here. They are moving a little bit, so I just need to wriggle them. These are the pads. Just need to be wriggled out the caliper, which is obviously here, which I'll need to take off in just a second to get to the hub. Okay, so that's one of the brake pads. Again, very good meat on it. Looks fairly new, but it's been squeaking like heck, so I'm just changing it all out. Looks a bit shiny, which might account for some of the squealing. You can see there a bit of a shine. So that's that one, and then this one comes out as well, he says, with a bit jiggery pokery. Nearly out. There we are. Good. Now, next thing is to get this caliper off, and we have a couple of bolts at the back here. Let's just have a look where we are. Yeah, that one and the one down the bottom there, don't know if you can see. So we've got to release those to release the caliper, get that off such that it's swinging free. And just had to use a little bit of force to get that going, but we seem to be making good progress now on the top bolt. Now I've got to go down to the bottom one down there and work that one out. And likewise, a bit of a tougher hammer initially, get it going, but that is now coming out, as you can see. Release the second bolt for the caliper. Now I've got to get ready to catch it because we don't want it straining the brake hose, causing a leak, which wouldn't be good, and all safe. Alright, so far so good. We've got the pads out, we've got the bolts out of the caliper. The caliper is actually off now, and you can just see it languishing in the back here. We'll have a look at it in a minute. It's obviously a bit grubby inside, but you get the idea. Pistons there that push against the pad. Just needs a bit of cleaning up and pushing back into the caliper such that we can take the new pads and disc when we get to that. But for now, I'm going to tie that up safely so it doesn't fall. Just a second, and then we've got to get the hub off, because that's the nature of these things. You've got to get the hub off first, and then behind here you've got bolts holding the disc to the hub. So that's the bit we want to replace. So we've got to prise this off now, undo the hub, and then do that. Sounds quite nice actually, the bearings. Just I think these have been done not too distant past, so it sounds quite smooth. So that's your good news. Hub bearings sound okay. And with a bit of prising with a screwdriver, the hub cap has come off. Good amount of grease in there. You can just see the castellated nut. I've now got to take this nut, well, clean it off first, take the split pin out, undo this nut to then pull the whole hub off the front axle. Okay, so let's clean off some of this grease now. Which I will replace. These castellated nuts are done up to 5 pound-foot torque and then backed off by just one slot, such that it allows the hub to have some end float, meaning it can move around a little bit. You don't want to over tighten them, obviously. Tighten that nut too tight and then you won't be able to turn the wheel, and you'll mince the bearings and that won't be good. So next step, having a look at this here, split pin, got to unbend that with a pair of pliers, or can do it with thumb actually, and then bend that out. I've got to pull it out with the eye just here, if you can see that. And there it is, just coming out now. Gone. Good. So there we are. So that now has released the nut. I can now unwind it to release the hub. And there we are, made a start. It's not tight, as I said earlier, because it's done up such that it can allow the wheel to move. So off comes a castellated nut, and then you've got a couple of washers, stroke bearing races in there that you've got to be careful of. So that should now allow the whole hub to come off the car. So there's a castellated nut. Put that to one side for a minute. Let's see what we can do here without getting the driveway covered in grease, or it will not be popular. Okay. See if that moves, and it does. Whoa, it all fell off. Okay, so there was the there's the ball race. That's a conical race that goes on the inside and holds it into the car. So we'll put that over here for now. That was the kind of greasy cover, oil seal probably, and washer that goes on the outside. So I'll put that over there as well. There'll be an inner bearing in a minute that will come off. Hopefully this won't fall on my legs. There we go, it's off. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, so that's a stud axle left behind, and in here you will see in the hub we have the disc attached. If I can just drop it down again without getting into trouble for messing up the drive. And there we are, those are the 4 bolts that have got to come off. Those hold the disc to the hub, which we couldn't get to before. And then inside here you can just see there's a bearing race. Can you see that? That's again the conical going the other way to the front one I just showed you, and that will allow the wheel and the hub to rotate. So we've got to get that out in a minute, drift that out and put a new one in. But first let's get the disc off. Right, so we've got the 4 bolts out. They took a bit of doing. 3/8 ratchet here with a 9/16 socket over the top, get it like that, and then a good use of a persuader on the bar to shock the start. The ratchet wasn't, drill ratchet wasn't that brilliant, wasn't man enough, so a good whack. It's a bit of a fiddle, but they did come out slowly but surely, and here they are. So we've now released the hub from the disc, but as you can see it's still stuck to it. Probably just needs a good whack with my trusty persuader here. I'll mind my knee, thank you very much. Try it a couple of times. I might need to do it off camera and just get that disc off. So that's the next plan. And before I proceed, here's a Arry The Stag top tip. If you have a bolt, as we have here, stuck in the socket, then a good idea is to take the socket off, put a screwdriver through and tap it on the ground. So I've removed the socket from the ratchet, and you see the screwdriver there, and simply all you do, tap it on the ground and it will, there you go, release it. Simple but works, saves loads of grief. Arry The Stag. Right, just escaped to the back garden and managed to use the hide hammer just to tap round the side of the disc and release it from the hub, so it's actually now broken free. Took a bit of a job, but tapping all around here with the hide hammer, just keep going. Eventually it parted company with the back plates there, so very pleased. We're now released, and that's just the hub. Now we've got to just redo the bearings on here and then reassemble it all back together. Okay, so we've moved to a different position in the garden, and I've just prized out this seal here. We'll have to get a new one of these, so I'm not going to be able to complete the job today, sadly, because I haven't bought any like a Wally. But that seal at the back of the hub has to come out. As you can see there, when you put him back in, we'll tamp it back in with a socket or something. And then there you can see here's the rear ball race now coming out, and that again we should ideally replace, because it's false economy trying to replace this. So now you can see inside tons and tons of grease, which we'll have to clean out and replace. That's all healthy. Obviously you need your bearings nicely greased in the in action, and on the front I've still got to release this bearing here, which is still stuck in there, so I'll just use a bit of a drift to try and knock that out, probably from the back, and see if that can come out. Okay, so I've got the rear ones out. I'm now trying to drift out the front one, and the bearing is actually held conically. If you imagine, let's have a look here. In there you can see actually it is moving slightly, that silver piece moving, and what I'm doing, just tapping through the grease. Now I've cleaned out some of the grease, if you can see in there, there's just a lip, so I'm just tapping that side and also over on that side as well, alternately, and it's slowly but surely moving it out of the casing. And these have to come out because we need to have new bearings in there. And with some further gentle persuasion, you'll see now actually it has released. So we've got the bearing seal out, that's the carrier if you will, and has come out of this piece here. So I'm going to replace that as well, front and back. And this one's still to come out. I'm just going to do the reverse from the other side now, so that should keep me busy for a bit, and then we'll eventually rebuild the whole hub. Might as well, as we've got it all off. Now for this one. And there we are, having tipped it out from, or tapped it out from the other side. That's the rear one out now, so they're both out. Everything is clear, so now all we've got to do is clean up this hub, get rid of all the old grease. I will obviously repack new grease in there, buy some new bearings and oil seal covers and ball races, and replace the whole lot. Right, so we're all cleaned out now, and lovely engineering, isn't it, there? So now I've got to buy some bits and pieces, as I say, to refurbish the hub. Back to the car then, and just for posterity, I thought I'd take the shield off. It's looking a bit grubby, so I'm going to sand that back and respray it. It's just a shield on the back plate here. Just to undo a couple of bolts here, including the big one back here somewhere. If I can just show it. Get under. Oh, on me back. So where are we? Just this big one here. Just undone that enough such that the steering adjuster can allow the metal to slip out between here, which was retained in here. So we should have a nice looking set of brakes after all this, but it's going to take a bit longer than I thought. And all I want to do is change the blinking pads. Never mind, at least it's peace of mind, isn't it? I don't know, who'd have a classic car, eh? Just plan to do a few little bits and pieces on a Saturday and end up having a whole heap of other stuff to do. But nevertheless, it's really good to have done. I've got the hubs off. I need to get some new kind of bearings for the hub, inner and outer, plus then the dust seals, plus then other bits and pieces. It's not worth skimping on for the sake of brakes. So I do need to get some new parts, which I'll gladly order later this week. So the car's going to now be off the road for a few days because I'm travelling about as well. So that said, equally, when I was under there, you may have noticed one or two eagle-eyed people that the bottom swivel joint was leaking grease as well. So I'm going to change that as well. I looked online earlier today. About 15 quid I think they are, so it's not worth worrying about. I'd rather change that over whilst I'm in there and I've got everything off than not. And equally the dust shield at the back, the big plate, the black, well it was black once, it's rusty now, but I need to get that done as well, so I'll refurbish that. A new set of those is about 50 or 60 quid, so it's good economy to fix it. It's not something you necessarily see a lot of, but peace of mind, it'll look good when it's done. So inevitably, guys, there will be another film once I get the rest of the kit back, but at least I hope you found that interesting. These bearing races and these kind of retaining kind of cages are quite tricky to get out of the hub, but at least if you've got some ideas on how to do that now, then that's a good thing. Obviously the reverse will be the the fixing of what we started in the first place. We're going to reverse the whole lot now and do it back in reverse, re-grease, refit and get it back on the road again. So we will plan to do that, and I'll do another film when we do that just to show you how I did it. Good. Okay, well, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Always happy to hear from you. If you've got any stories of daring do or videos or photographs you want to send us, please send them through. On a Saturday we run Saturday Sockets, as I keep saying, and we're getting some great reviews on that, and all about stuff that we get up to off camera, so feel free to sign up and get online with that. It's a freebie. And also the Arry The Stag Badge of Honour. It's a sticker, window badge sticker that you can have on your car. We're sending those out worldwide free of charge, so if you want one, please just get in touch and we'll send one to you wherever you are in the world. It'd be really good to have you part of the Arry The Stag crew and sharing the classics dream. Okay, well, that's about it for me for this week. I'm going to go and see if I can do the offside now whilst it stopped raining, and try and get that done to the point there where I'm ready to put it all back together. That's the cunning plan, but we'll have to see. So meanwhile, have a great week. Enjoy yourselves wherever you are. Be safe, of course, and we'll see you online on Arry The Stag very soon. All the best. Cheers for now. Bye.